Stay out, poo old hag. Go somewhere else.
My mom and I encountered an annoyingly boastful banker while staying at a hotel. The moment she saw us, she hurled these insults and even threw tea at my mom. Moreover, this banker has been rude to us before. Driven to the edge, my mom finally snapped and took drastic action. My name is Angela. I'm a 36-year-old office worker this year. I was born to a dad who ran a restaurant and a mom who supported him. Though a small operation with just about 4 employees, including my parents. We struggled to stay profitable, barely making ends meet for some months. My dad was a man who cared deeply about his ingredients and spices, which were always expensive. With a small customer base due to our limited seating, our daily profits were inevitably low. Then came the hikes in material costs, utilities, and labor, making it even tougher to keep the restaurant afloat. However, my dad's cooking was extraordinary. His beef stew was particularly spectacular. I've never tasted anything better. And so, his dishes had a loyal local following. Despite the constant requests from his fans to keep the flavors unchanged, my dad never compromised on the quality of his ingredients. Even so, my dad spent many nights developing affordable dishes as he saw the restaurant situation worsening. While my mom came home to take care of me, she often returned to the restaurant when my dad was unusually late.
Your dad's passion for cooking is intense. He won't take a break, no matter what. I'm worried he might collapse.
Unfortunately, her fears were realized. My dad passed away from overwork when I was in my second year of middle school. He was found alone in the kitchen by my mom, who went to check on him as usual, but it was too late to save him.
I wish I had stopped him.
Even though my mom blamed herself for a while after his death, I never thought it was her fault. My dad was stubborn and passionate about his craft, and he wouldn't have listened anyway. Moreover, he had left behind his recipes. His life's work in cooking could still be recreated. My dad would be happy to know his cooking lives on, even if he's in heaven. He wouldn't want mom and me to be sad forever. I often comforted my mom with these words. Indeed, my dad used to say,
"Don't mope around. Life is all about taking action."
Encouraged by my words, my mom slowly began to recover, and 3 months after his passing, we reopened the restaurant. While my mom mainly handled the service, she was also skilled in the kitchen and well-versed in my dad's culinary ideals. Thanks to his recipes, we could replicate his flavors. While profits were still modest, our loyal customers helped keep the business alive, which was a blessing. Since high school, I've often helped in the restaurant and still work with my mom today. Although our roles have changed over time, we live together and remain a strong mother-daughter team. However, we recently encountered a troubling individual. Her name is Emma. Emma works at a branch of a major bank and has an awful attitude. When my mom and I visited the bank, Emma was at the counter. Standing nearly 6 feet tall, she had a model-like figure and was beautiful, but my first impression was not good. It was because she seemed to be sizing us up.
Oh, what can I do for you, Grandma? Is this lady your companion?
Her first words were condescending, and both my mom and I were taken aback. Emma smirked at my mom's attempt to deposit her $2,000, which she had saved as pocket money, into a bank account.
Only $2,000, huh? Can you even live on such a small amount?
Well, yes, sort of.
My mom replied, visibly upset. Just for the record, that wasn't all of her savings. She recently started saving money secretly, and it piled up more than I expected. I reconsidered keeping too much cash at home as it seemed unsafe, so I decided to deposit it in the bank. Really? There's no reason for a bank teller I've just met to make snide remarks. After leaving the bank, my mom and I were wondering what was up with that bank employee. We thought about filing a complaint, but it's not like we'd have to deal with her every time, so we decided to just forget about it. However, a week later when I visited the same bank again, I ran into Emma again. This time, she was glaring at a tiny old lady, barely 5 feet tall, standing her ground.
Come on, why don't you get it?
She scolded harshly. The old lady awkwardly bowed her head.
I'm sorry, I'm just not good with machines.
Yet it seemed Emma was not in a forgiving mood.
Apologies won't calm me down. Give me back my time.
She ranted, seemingly threatening the old woman. I felt I should intervene, especially since the scene reminded me of my mom, but they were in a secluded corner of the bank, away from the main counter. It appeared the other bank employees hadn't noticed. Compelled by the resemblance to my mom, I stepped in between them. Is there anything wrong? Though I merely asked, I did nothing to provoke further. However, Emma seemed very displeased by my intervention, glaring at me fiercely.
You're an outsider, aren't you? Don't butt in.
Despite her harsh words, I controlled my anger. I noticed some commotion. What seems to be the issue?
It's not just something I, a graduate of a top university, taught her, yet this old lady can't even operate the ATM.
After calming down Emma and listening to her, it turned out that the old lady had asked her for help with the ATM. Reluctantly, Emma showed her, but since the old lady was not tech-savvy, she messed up the operation. That's when Emma dragged her to this inconspicuous spot and started yelling. Honestly, I think Emma is at fault. People who are not familiar with technology obviously use banks too, and supporting such customers is part of their job. The old lady meant no harm and even apologized, so there was no need for such blame. However, I knew it wouldn't make sense to say this to Emma. Then I'll call someone else to help her. Ignoring Emma's protest, I fetched another male bank employee and returned to the original spot. He apologized to the old lady and forcibly made Emma apologize as well, probably her supervisor. Emma apologized very reluctantly, so it's likely he was her boss. Thanks to the male employee, Emma was sent back to the counter, and the old lady successfully operated the ATM.
Thank you, I'm really relieved you came along.
The old lady thanked me as she was leaving, so it seemed my interference was not unwarranted. I also spoke to the male bank employee, who mentioned that Emma frequently caused such troubles.
I keep advising her as her supervisor, and she does listen to the branch manager, but she rebels often, using her elite university background as an excuse.
He looked quite exhausted. Certainly, having such a person as an employee must be stressful. Feeling sorry for him, I finished my business and left the bank. When I told my mom about the incident at the bank, she was incredulous.
She shouldn't do customer service. If it were me, I'd consider firing her.
My mom and I didn't want to see Emma anymore. On a certain day, to celebrate my mom's 60th birthday, we went to a luxurious hotel. This hotel was a place my mom had long wanted to visit, and it was a surprising coincidence. The hotel was a traditional American-style house, both beautiful outside and inside. I was very excited, and it seemed my mom was happy too.
I'm glad to come with you. Thank you, Angela.
After we put down our bags in the room, we went to see the hotel's garden. It's said to be the main attraction of this hotel, and it truly is beautiful and serene. There was no one but us, and the occasional bird call calmed me. It was already late afternoon, and we were tired from traveling, so we decided to relax here for a bit.
This garden is boring.
But then, out of nowhere, a voice shattered the calm. Turning towards the voice, there was Emma. She was drinking a cup of tea, glaring at the garden. I was disappointed to learn that she was staying here. My mom looked displeased, too.
Wow, there's that annoying lady from the bank.
I hoped she wouldn't bother us, but Emma noticed me. Though I hadn't done anything to her, it seemed she remembered it differently. As these thoughts crossed my mind, Emma approached me.
Why are you here? I was finally relaxing and you ruined it.
I'm on a trip with my mom. Please don't bother us. I tried to distance myself from Emma, but it was ineffective.
Well, what a miserable old hag. You know this is a luxury hotel, right? You're totally out of place.
She mocked my mom. It seemed Emma had forgotten about my mom, but of course, my mom remembered what had been done. It looked like she was truly fed up with Emma's attitude.
I don't need to bother with you. So, you enjoy your trip. Let's go back to our room.
And she started leading me away. However, Emma didn't like that either.
I, a graduate from an elite university, am talking to a poor person and you ignore me. Then take this.
The next moment, Emma threw the tea in her cup at my mom. The tea was steaming, so it must have been quite hot. It got on my mom's clothes, thankfully not burning her, but it was an unforgivable act. What are you doing? Apologize now. I protested, but Emma just laughed it off.
Who old hags shouldn't come here, go somewhere else.
And with that insult, my mom finally decided to take action.
Enough. Just wait a moment.
My mom snapped, pulling out her smartphone and making a call.
Who are you calling? Planning to bring your poor friends.
Emma continued to mock, but my mom ignored her and explained the situation on the phone. After finishing the call, she glared at Emma.
I've just called your boss, so wait right here. Don't you dare run away.
Her voice was calm, but her eyes were filled with anger. Yet Emma didn't seem intimidated, almost pleased.
Oh, my boss is around here, huh? I'm used to handling him. I'm not worried even if he scolds me.
Emma was probably imagining the male bank employee who dealt with the old lady before. She completely underestimated her supervisor, which I found despicable, but I was thinking of something else. Could it be that the person my mom called isn't that bank employee? Actually, staying at this hotel was a coincidence. So, the person my mom called might be. Lost in thought, I was startled when a well-built elderly man with gray hair approached us.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I apologize for the inconvenience.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. We really needed to consult Emma.
My mom bowed politely to the man, and I followed her lead. Meanwhile, Emma stood there with her mouth wide open.
Did you call the branch manager?
Yes, the person my mom had called was the branch manager, James. He was also staying at this hotel on the same day as us. It was a surprising coincidence that came to light when my mom had a chat with him at the bank just before a trip. It's such an incredible coincidence. I was shocked, and so was my mom, but since this is a popular hotel and they were having a discount period, such things can happen. We certainly didn't expect to encounter him like this, though. James is a calm person but values manners and etiquette highly. I had heard he trains his employees thoroughly.
Emma, it's you again. I've heard over the phone that you splashed tea on our customer. That's extremely rude.
I'm sorry.
Emma apologized to my mom. However, she hadn't fully reflected and started making unnecessary comments.
It's because she was a poor old woman.
This caused the atmosphere to become even more tense, but it would be unseemly to continue this dispute in front of the beautiful garden. To avoid disturbing other guests, we moved to our room to continue the discussion. Once in the room, we first clarified who my mom was. My mom is the president of a chain restaurant. The restaurant is famous for beef stew. When I explained this, Emma was astounded.
What? Seriously? That is a famous beef stew restaurant around here.
Yes, my mom had expanded the small restaurant my dad started and now owns a total of 10 eateries. Emma seemed unable to believe it, her face a picture of astonishment.
Why? But she looks like just old lady.
Well, I was a normal woman originally.
My mom sighed and began explaining why she became the president.
I took over the restaurant my late husband left me and managed it. I wanted to keep serving his dishes, but the cost of ingredients was so high, I worried that if anything happened, the restaurant would be in immediate danger.
Feeling the urgency, my mom started to develop cheaper yet delicious dishes, just like my dad had done. It was tough balancing this with caring for me, but she never complained and kept improving. I helped out with the cooking research after high school. Not just tasting, but sometimes cooking.
With my daughter's help, I was able to create some affordable and delicious dishes.
Mom smiled a bit as she reminisced. The most popular was the beef stew, which, thanks to being more affordable, began attracting more customers. Spending a little on flyers with coupons in the neighborhood and getting featured in magazines also proved to be good publicity. People who had shied away due to higher prices started coming, and many became regulars, boosting our sales. My mom's expression clouded slightly as she continued.
But it wasn't all good. The shop became overwhelmed.
The small shop was packed during mealtimes, sometimes even forming lines outside. We hired more staff, but the fundamental issue of limited space wasn't resolved. With increased waiting times, customer dissatisfaction naturally rose. We thought about expanding the space, but unfortunately, other buildings and roads nearby made expansion difficult.
So you mean customers left and you hit rock bottom, huh?
Emma smirked.
Stop it. Don't look down on people.
James warned her in a low voice, prompting her to correct her expression.
Unfortunately, we didn't hit rock bottom.
My mom glared at Emma.
We opened a second location, relatively close to the original, which solved the capacity issue.
Oh, I see. My apologies.
Perhaps intimidated by my mom's stern gaze, Emma backed down, retracting her previous statements.
Anyway, after the second location opened, things went smoothly, and we gradually expanded to our current status.
After my mom finished explaining, Emma looked uncomfortable but still tried to resist.
But maybe the business isn't going well.
Always searching for faults in others. To protect yourself, don't find other people's misfortunes. The business is doing well. I can assure you of that as the vice president. I said it with a colder tone than I expected, which made Emma mutter softly,
You're the vice president.
I have been working alongside my mom since high school and became the vice president when we established the company. She chose me because she trusts me more than anyone else.
It's a family business, huh? That's convenient.
Emma tried to criticize us again. Why won't she learn? Then James interrupted.
As Angela said, their company is doing well. There are plenty of family-run businesses.
Mother and daughter, the president and vice president.
James's authoritative tone left no room for Emma to argue, and she blushed, looking down in embarrassment. Realizing that the family she looked down upon held high social status must have been humiliating for her, given her excessively high pride. However, James did not ease his pursuit.
Why did you behave so rudely towards these two? They are long-standing and important clients of our bank, and I instructed everyone to treat them with respect.
That was a mistake. I have a good memory. It was just a misunderstanding.
Emma made excuses, but her eyes were darting around. You didn't remember properly from the start, did you? It'd be embarrassing to be thought of as having a bad memory despite your high education, so you lied, didn't you? When I bluntly said that, Emma looked startled.
No, that's not it.
Stop making excuses. It's clear now that you have no passion for your work. I've had enough. You're fired.
James said, and Emma's face turned ashen.
It's too sudden.
No way. You've had unexcused absences, tardiness, and you've been rude to other employees and clients. Too much misconduct.
Emma looked utterly despondent.
How can this be? I have debts. If I'm fired, I'll have no income for a while.
It's not a good look for a bank employee to be in debt. There are other jobs out there, aren't there? You graduated from a top university. There should be plenty of opportunities for you, I said, and James nodded.
Banks require a high level of trust. We can't keep someone as disrespectful as you any longer.
Why would you come to a luxury hotel if you have debts? Even if there's a discount, it's still pricey.
My mom pointed out, and Emma murmured,
I wanted to brag on social media. I've had trouble making friends since I was a child. They said terrible things about my personality or just my grades.
Emma spoke as if the world was against her, but honestly, if she were a classmate, I would want to keep my distance. She probably harassed her classmates as well. Thinking about this made it clear why Emma was so immersed in social media. You have no real friends, so you tried to connect with people online?
Yes. On social media, I don't have to meet people in person and can block those I dislike. It was easier to pretend to be nice.
Emma wanted to connect with more people online to be fawned over, so she bought luxury items to pretend she was wealthy. That way, some people did fawn over her, and she really enjoyed it.
But once you start pretending to be a celebrity, you have to keep it up.
Emma could have just quit social media and fixed her personality, but it seemed she didn't want to let go of the place she had found for herself. Continuing to pretend to be a celebrity, she eventually couldn't make ends meet on her banker's salary alone and began accumulating debt. Still, she didn't know when to stop, and up until today, she stayed at this hotel to take pictures to post on social media. I've seen articles about the downfall of people addicted to social media, but I never thought I'd actually meet someone like that. Using it wrongly can truly mess up your life, I realized in horror.
My company uses social media too, and I think it's wonderful because it transcends time and space. But the reality you live in is the real world. Unless you handle reality, you won't find happiness.
My mom asserted her, and Emma began to sob.
Oh, but what should I do?
First, you need to reflect on your actions, and you should admit that if things don't work out, it's because of your own faults. I told her directly. Emma cried even harder.
That's impossible.
It's not impossible, I said sternly, causing her to flinch. With your personality, you won't be able to make it anywhere. You have to start by facing yourself. Hearing this, Emma was devastated and froze. Facing herself might be harder than being fired for someone like Emma who always believed she was right. But I thought that without facing herself, she couldn't repent or reform, and I found it hard to sympathize. Later, dinner was served, and James led Emma out of the room. Mom and I tried to shift our mood and enjoyed a delicious dinner, feeling fulfilled. But for Emma, no matter how lavish the meal, it was unlikely she could enjoy it. We left her case in James's hands and decided to forget about Emma's incident from the next day. Mom and I thoroughly enjoyed our trip, but whenever we saw Emma in the hotel, her face was ghostly pale. Thinking about her future, she couldn't possibly look happy. When the trip ended and I went back to work, James informed me that Emma had been fired. I didn't know what became of Emma after that, but recently I spotted her performing live in front of a station.
I'm planning to go viral as a singer on social media now.
Apparently, she still hadn't escaped from social media. Incidentally, Emma's singing was so bad it was more like noise, and she looked older and a bit heavier, possibly from stress. With no chance of making it big, passersby complained about the noise. And since she was singing without permission, she ended up being taken away by a police officer who arrived on the scene. Watching this, I couldn't help but feel she would never find happiness. Meanwhile, my mom and I are still running the company. Our signature beef stew is still a bestseller, much to our customers' delight, which we are thankful for. Surely, my dad would be happy in heaven knowing this. By the way, the original developer of the beef stew was my dad, which is clearly stated on our website. My mom wrote the text herself, detailing the struggles and joys of creating the dish, ensuring my dad's legacy in cooking is preserved for future generations.
He dedicated his life to his cooking. We want to engrave his name in some way.
My mom said, looking at a picture of my dad in her office. I completely agree with her sentiments. I will never forget the passion my dad had for cooking, and we owe our current life to him starting the business. I'd like to continue supporting the company with my mom without forgetting my dad's legacy.